Well, hello everyone. It's another late night, and I'm on the road. Just got in the car a few minutes ago, and tonight's topic is step 11, but I am actually, at the moment, I went to pick something up that a friend gave me, and unexpectedly, which was super great. Thank you so much. You know who you are. And I thought I'd take a drive through my old neighborhood, so I just did that. I grew up in Newington. I don't live far from there now. I'm over by the college in New Britain. And sometimes I like to drive by my old house. It's kind of cool. Think about all the things and fun we had when we lived in Newington. I was here from about age, I think, 13 on. So lots of things have changed over here. But I don't know, when anybody ever asks me where I grew up, I always say Newington, even though I lived in a few other places for some of those early years. To me, Newington's always home. There's something, I don't know, comforting about it, I guess. As interesting as it was. Anyway, we're on step 11 today. So, step 11 is a long step, and it reads, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Pretty tall order, if you ask me. But I will tell you, as I said yesterday, it is actually one of my favorite steps. I like everything about it, and I think the first part that I like is sought through prayer and meditation, like just making that conscious decision to choose prayer and meditation as a way of connecting with my higher power, for me, is important. And I like that it says to improve our conscious contact. So it's always, let's say, a reaching or a desire. I don't think you ever, quote unquote, arrive at that level, that you're done. So I think that's one of the reasons I like this step, is it's a working step that you're working towards continually improving that connection. And that's what it really is for me. Today was a rough day in the morning. We found out that took her life, and it's really, really sad when someone does that. And you know, there are never any good words when something like that happens, right? It's sad no matter the age. It's sad when someone feels that lost, that they have no hope. And if you are ever in that place, remember it's temporary. Don't do a permanent solution to it, because this too shall pass. And without going into details, it's really just it's a tough thing for people to accept, to understand that people do that, and it's so hard for the people that are left. So the morning wasn't that great, and it was something to really reflect on And I just think when I think about step 11 is like, for me, it is about connecting with that power greater than myself, that I want to always maintain that relationship. Been through some tough stuff myself, and I'm still here, just like you. You're still here. You've been through some tough stuff too, I'm sure. Nobody gets out for free and without any challenges in life. So you just need to maintain that relationship. So thought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, with your higher power, as you understand Him. And you know what's really neat about that is you can continually work on understanding who that source is, who that higher power is for you. And I don't know about you, but it certainly has changed and evolved over the years for me. The God of my understanding when I was younger is different from the God of my understanding today. And I'm grateful for that. I'm also grateful that I wasn't raised in a religion that had a God that was a damning God, or you better do this kind of thing, or that's going to happen. There wasn't any revenge in the God of my understanding. There wasn't any pay to play. There wasn't any of that kind of stuff. There was no hellfire and brimstone. I was very, very fortunate that religion was never pushed on me. It's actually something that was just a part of what I did and who I was especially when I was younger. I was never forced to go to church. I actually would go to church even without my family at certain times in my life. I guess I just liked it. I don't have a lot of memory about those times, but I do know that I did that. Even though no one else in the family went, I could walk. One of the churches that we were part of, I could actually walk from home to it, and I would go, and I would sit there, and I liked it. There was something about it that I really liked. Can't tell you what it was. Can't even tell you who was there. It's all hazy. I was probably 10, 11, 12, something like that. And I just liked it. So I'm very fortunate, and I know that I had a higher power that I felt always was working in my best interest. I also, as I probably have mentioned once before, I always felt like God would never give me more than I could handle. And honestly, even with all the things that have happened, I still believe that. And I've never doubted it, even when it was tough, even when it was a difficult thing, like losing my daughter, or a difficult situation that came about in my life, or something horrendous happened or whatever. I just always had that. So again, I feel really fortunate. So the God of my understanding, has never abandoned me. I've never felt, that it, he, she, her, him wasn't there for me. I always felt that it was. So I'm very fortunate that way. I know there's a lot of people that really struggle with that, and you're welcome to use mine if you'd like, if it helps. It's always there for me. It's like what I talk about with the sun. The sun is always shining. It's like that's how God is for me. It's always there, day or night, rain or not. It's there. So the God of my understanding will always, bring me through, so to speak. No matter what kind of situation comes up in my life, I figure out that I'm going to be okay, no matter what. So I do have a very strong faith in that creator, that source within my life, and I'm super grateful about it. So sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. I think that's the part that really always intrigued me when I thought about this step, was like, pray for the knowledge of the will. I'll say hello to a few people. I'm parked. The knowledge of his will for me and the power to carry that out. So for me, I always believe that if he gives you the knowledge of his will for you, then inevitably he will give you the power to carry it out. Like, I kind of always felt like that was almost a given, that there wasn't any question then that if I was supposed to do something, I would be given the power to carry it through and to follow through, so to speak, what I thought it was supposed to be for me. So I always think that that's kind of interesting, that that there's a sense of like kind of a knowing that when you are doing something, that or something comes to your mind about what you think you should be doing, or where you should be going, or who you're supposed to see, or whatever, like, you feel like you know something, then you will then automatically be given the power to carry through, to carry it out, whatever that plan is. So it's kind of, for me anyways, I believe that that's kind of a piece of how that all works. That, in other words, if I wasn't given that information, then it wouldn't be something I'm supposed to do. So it's almost like, I guess, maybe giving permission. If the information's coming to me and I really feel like that's the right thing, then I'm supposed to do it. Like, that's just what I'm supposed to do. So I also don't really have any fear around stuff like that either. Again, I think that's just truly a gift. I know there's a lot of people that are fearful about a lot of different things, especially nowadays with the COVID. I'm not. I'm just not. I can't even tell you why, other than I just believe that this is all exactly as it's supposed to be for today. And the new understandings that I see going around with people, and the way that I see people maneuvering through their lives, makes me realize that, there are people out there still searching for, the ability to not be fearful, the ability to not have anxiety. Again, having that happen this morning, finding out about it this morning, it happened yesterday. I realize that there's people who really do feel hopeless and helpless, and that they have no other way out. And as much as I know it's a reality, and I can, you can see that, there is always a bright side to some things in life that you don't always see initially. Like, it's not always that obvious. So but it's a difficult place. It's hard to help somebody who's in those spaces to get to another place and not live in fear. And that's just, for me, it's about prayer and meditation and connecting with that higher power. And I think as I do that, then my faith becomes even stronger. My ability to do things becomes even stronger. Then I feel like the right people come into my life at the right time. That cool little prayer I gave you the other day, Lord, tell me where to go, who to see, what to say, and when. Kind of like that one. Again, it kind of covers all the bases. And I think that's one of the things that you could use that as a little prayer. Oh, excuse me. It's getting late again for me. It's been a long day. But I don't know. I really love Step 11. It's honestly probably if I had to pick that one, that would be the one I picked. And I just feel like it's got so much that it encompasses in a way of living that's beneficial, that can keep me on track and keep me where I want to be and where I want to go. It just really makes a difference in my life. So if it works for you, maybe you can try some prayer and meditation to improve your conscious contact with your source, with your creator, with your higher power. And, if you continually improve it, it will continually change and evolve and hopefully get better. And the connections will get stronger. and then the knowing comes. Just be open to it. Pay attention. As I was driving back from where I went to pick up that item, and I always think that there's signs and omens all around you, right? But sometimes I miss them. I'm sure you do too. But as I was driving, all of a sudden a deer popped out of the side of the road in an area that's there's a lot of houses around there, so it's fairly populated. So it was kind of a surprise to see the deer there. Not a complete surprise, because you see them in lots of places that they maybe shouldn't be. But it was kind of, very populated area in Newington. And the deer just walked out like it wanted to go across the street, but then it stopped, saw the lights to my car. I was going pretty slow, like 30, I think it was, because it was just before I turned into my old neighborhood. But it's a pretty busy street there. And I thought, well, I'm going to look that up, because there's a book that talks about when you see different animals, what it means. So I'm going to look that up. I've looked it up before because I see deer a lot for some reason. So I got to go look that up, what it means again. Sometimes I forget. And anyways, that's paying attention, right? So maybe there's a message there for me today. But sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for the knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. So if you only prayed for that all the time, you'd probably notice that you can then carry out what you think that will is. How great would that be? What would you change? What would you do differently? What would you continue doing that you feel you are already on the right path with? I just think it's awesome, that we have that ability to connect in energetically with that power greater than ourselves. So those are my thoughts, just my opinion on step 11, and I will be back with step 12 tomorrow at some point. And I hope you have a really great evening. And remember, the sun is always shining, even though it's dark as night here. If we were over in, let's see, probably Hawaii by now, I'm not sure where exactly on the West Coast or beyond, the sun is probably still shining over there on the planet over there, but it's still shining. You know that, right? So the sun is always shining, guys. It's always got your back. And just like the Creator, the same thing is happening. It's always got your back. And I think that's why I like this step, and that's why I like what it helps me to continue to do on a regular basis, and make my life more manageable, as it were. So with that, I will be signing off for now. Love you guys. Hope you have a good evening, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Bye for now.